Hey guys, Mr. James here from the Kenai Community Library coming at you with another Let's Draw. Now today we are going to be drawing space creatures. And we're going to be using the assistance from Terrell Whitlatch, an author that wrote books on the science of creature design, the principles of creature design, and animals, real and imagined. And in these books she goes into animal anatomy, how to integrate various animals into one creature, or things to think about when designing your creature, such as its ecosystem, what's the purpose of the creature, things like that. So grab all your drawing materials and a sheet of paper, and let's draw. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started on designing our own science fiction space creature. And knowing that creatures might have their own ecosystem, that they are something that we should design with a purpose in mind on how, are these a predator? Is this a prey creature? Is this something that has distinct characteristics that might make it an effective predator? And so today I am going to be drawing this type of creature here. I did some sketches. So these sketches are going to help me hop right into my drawing. And I combined a rhinoceros kind of look with these horns, and I'm adding horns in different areas, but also really long arms, short legs, and they're going to stand upright and walk on two legs kind of space creature. So we're going to try and give them kind of an armored skin look, and we'll see how this comes out. So let's start with the face. I'll leave my sketch here so that you kind of know which direction we're heading here. So to begin, I'll put some marks here. I want to start with my face. And I think I want my face, I'm going to go straight up where the mouth is. I'm going to put a little mark right here. Now, if this is your full sheet of paper, I'm making this a horizontal format, and I'm going to start the head in the upper left quadrant. So I'm going to put a little mark right there, and I'm going to start bringing this face to life. We'll see how this comes out here. So I'm going to put a mark going up, like this. Because I'm going to take this head here and I'm going to turn it because I want him angled down. Then I'm going to put a little zigzaggy mark, kind of like this right here, and that's going to represent the edge of his nose. And then we can start to kind of get his head to come alive here with a mark going up like this, and start to bring that over. Now I have all these spikes I'm going to add. So if I start to draw all the lines, I might get in the way of my spikes, but just to show you what I'm going to do, I'll use a small marker, and I think that's going to come all the way down. So I'm going to just take, and for my sketch work, the spikes are going to go all the way over, looking at my sketch here, all the way down about like this. And that's going to represent his back, this creature's back. But let's go ahead and get back to the face, and we'll finish this face off, and then we'll design the rest of the creature. So with this in mind, I'm looking at my sketch, and I've got I kind of like the way I did my mouth there, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing, where the mouth comes up and drops down, giving him kind of this mean kind of look right there. Kind of got a frowny face there. And then we're going to add the bottom part of the lip here, coming over, and a big, strong, kind of straight chin coming down. So you can see I have this going over, and now we've got our chin kind of coming down here. And I'm basing this on my sketch, but this is just my design for a creature where I've combined a couple of real-life creatures like a rhinoceros. I really was looking at a turtle in one of the books, and kind of how the turtle, a snapping turtle, had these different textures, so we're going to add something like that on his back. Let's go ahead and add the nose. So I'm going to put a little mark going up, and I'm going to add the nostril kind of down like this, just to represent that nose. So there's the nose right here. We'll go ahead and put the eye in so we know where we're going with this creature. So I'm going to put we've practiced this before, but I'm going to put a nice kind of a curve going up because this kind of gives us a nice kind of mean look that we've practiced before when we've drawn superheroes and supervillains and all kinds of characters. By giving that brow, that sloped brow, it kind of gives a nice look for someone that's trying to look pretty intimidating here. So we're going to do the same thing inside here with a little eye. I'm going to put a little curve going up, just like that. And then I can add my eye. I'm going to just kind of drop this down. And there's my eye, the eyeball. And then I'm going to bring this, he's got all kinds of little wrinkles and lines you can see here. I really like those. We're going to add a lot of those at the end, but for now I'm just going to add a few just so we can see what's going on. Put a little one right here. I'll put a little one right there. Drop one down right here. Looks like he's got several. And I kind of took that right from a rhinoceros with all the folds and the skin. It really looked like a lot of fun, so I'll put a thicker one down right here. Okay, so we have our eye in place. We'll come back and add some more details to the eye, the nose, all of that. But right now, I kind of like where I've got this going. I want to go ahead and add these kind of areas right here that almost would be something that, just like the books we were talking about earlier, where you can design the skeletal work, I want to kind of show skeletal work underneath this creature. So I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put something right in here. It's going to come over like this, and it's going to be kind of a rocky, kind of almost like a jagged looking part of his skull coming out right here. And the same thing right here. Kind of like that. It kind of makes it look like it's kind of sticking out a little bit here. He's got these protruding kind of rock formations coming out of his skin right here. I do like that. I think that looks kind of nice. We could even add almost a little bit more of like a jawbone kind of thing, but that's kind of what we're alluding to, is that the jawbone connects here underneath the skin. So let's put a little mark here for his bottom chin there. So far, I like the face. I think that's going to work pretty nice, and I'm really going to like it when we add those kind of horns on this creature. I'm making a predator-like creature who is going to have big horns, and he's also going to have really big claws. So let's go ahead and add. I'm gonna drop this down, kind of like this. We're going to give him some skin underneath that chin, that jawbone, but maybe I'll imply that there's a little bit of a jawbone right here. Just like that. So far, I'm liking it. I'm going to add some more spikes and everything here, but for now, this works for our creature. So now let's go ahead and add how his arms and everything are going to look. And I'm looking at my little sketch here to help me with that. It is not uncommon for artists to have little sketches and things to help them. So if you guys ever have done a sketch at home and you thought, well, I want to draw it bigger, or I want to take my time and draw it different, you can. Look at your sketch, grab another sheet of paper, and keep referring back to it. It's so much fun to be able to kind of look at your design and see what you're able to come up with. Even if you let your sketch sit for a few days to brew on it. So I'm going to add a curve like this. Then I'm going to add another curve right here. Mr. James, what is that? Well, this is the deltoid. This is like this shoulder right here. And this allows me to draw the arm. So next I'm going to draw an arm coming over like so. And on this part of the arm, it's going to come over like so, but it's going to have a muscle that comes in like this and over. I'm going to kind of funny there a little bit, but that is the back of an arm. So we have our deltoid here, we have our bicep here of an arm, so we're kind of giving him human characteristics, and then we'll add a little bit of an elbow right there. And I'm going to give this creature, because creatures do allow us a great latitude to exaggerate all kinds of things, I'm going to give him some really strong forearms. Like this. And we're going to bring these arms over really big. Like that. So that is going to be one of his forearms. Kind of excited about this, you guys. So next, let's add the shoulder blades. And those shoulder blades, it's not like a blade shape. It's actually kind of more like, it's more like muscle right in here. So he's got this muscle right here. And then back here, we're going to add a little muscle right here. And you've seen this in a skeleton. If you guys recall, there's these shoulder blades in the back, and here's the shoulder muscle and shoulder blades back here. So let's add a little bit more detail. His back is going to be shown, and this is kind of his, it's called your lats, are going to be right here. We're going to bring that over. So this is part, I've got a lot of curves going on here. You guys feel free to pause the video if you need help with this. And then let's go ahead and bring in the rest of the torso is going to come over like this. So there is my creature so far with no details yet. Let's go ahead and finish out the body, and then we'll fine-tune this guy with all kinds of fun details. I want the leg to come over. Another kind of curve right here. The leg's going to come over. Just like my sketch, I have a nice little leg right here with some muscles. I'm going to bring this down for the kneecap. So his back comes all the way down, and I'm going to make it kind of like a snapping turtle kind of back. So this is going to be not really a tail, but just this kind of, if you guys recall in Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, there's a monster called the Rancor monster. So we're going to kind of give him that kind of look for the back. And I'm going to bring this over like that for his leg. And then I'm going to bring we have the calf, and now we have the thigh up here, and we're adding the calf down here. Bring this over like that. So it's kind of squatting down, and we'll have the hands even, because his hands are so long that they touch the ground, even though his short legs are right here. So for the feet, we'll get to the feet here in just a second. Let's go ahead and add the other leg. I'm going to bring this over like so, and then another calf coming over like this. His knee's going to come down like that. So see how I did that here. And then this foot, this leg is back. This one comes over. We're going to add some shadow to all of this. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the heel. If I was sketching it out, I would think there'd be a tendon right here, and the heel would be kind of like this, and it comes down. So, and this is just me using a little light marker to sketch with so you guys can see it rather than a pencil. But you guys at home can use a pencil. So I would sketch it something like this, and this is about how the foot, like that. So I like that sketch, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Bring that over. So there is that foot. Now I want to draw this foot about maybe a little bit lower, but almost the same kind of general look to it. Heel goes here. And then foot comes over like this. And we will certainly add more detail to our feet, but for now, I think that works. So I'm just going to add a nice simple heel like so. I Change it just a little there, but I'm going to get in there and add some details here in just a little bit. So there's our foot. Let's finish the arms, and then we'll work on the back here. So just so we know what's going on with our other arm, we probably better add, if this arm behind were to come down, I think it would come down to about right. It'd be way over here, here, and then come over. There's the elbow, and I'm going to say it's going to come all the way over like this. Those giant forearms, like that. So that's his other arm, and that works so far. Let's go ahead and finish that hand. So for this hand, we're going to keep it real simple. I'm going to bring a big, huge claw over. I'm going to give him the little bit of the part in your hand right here, your wrist, but the inner part of the wrist. And I'm going to bring that over like this and drop another big claw like this. But I should give him a thumb, and that thumb's going to be maybe right in here. We'll make that a little bit smaller, just so. Okay. So this is the kind of creature we're dealing with. He's got these huge claw-like hands, and I want that to be down here too. So I'm going to put the wrist coming over right here, and then dropping it down almost like a gorilla kind of curls his fingers in. So we're going to do that, but he's got those big, huge claws, our creature does here. So we're going to try to kind of bring that over. And now we'll give him 2 fingers here. And then I'm going to give a big claw here. A big claw coming over right here. And then the thumb, maybe I'll just put the little claw like that. Okay, so we have our general look of our creature, and we've got a lot of details that we still need to add. So let's go ahead and finish out, let's add the spikes, and then we'll finish out the details here. So spike number 1, I really like my sketch has these spikes here, so I'm going to add those spikes to this guy. We're going to give him a spike right here. It's going to come up, and I kind of bring it over like this. And bring that spike over like this, and then it comes over, almost like an antler kind of look. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll give him kind of a smaller one right here. And we're just going to add a few. Smaller one. Maybe here I'm just going to throw in like a weird atypical kind of spike. And then I think I want to start getting these spikes a little bit bigger. So here's one. I'm going to start making it look a little bit different and adding a spike here. Ooh, I think I kind of like that one there. And then I'm going to add another one. And this almost has like a Godzilla kind of feel to it. This is our own invented creature. And then I'm going to start to shrink him as it kind of went up real large spikes in his back. Now I want him to shrink a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of make some of them a little bit smaller, a little bit different. We got some spikes. Then it just starts to get real small and small. And now I want to start to draw the back side where this shell casing is going to have more than just these spikes. So I'm going to add a few more spikes here. We're going to add a few more spikes kind of coming over here. And it's going up the back side here. And now I can kind of start to add a little bit more of this muscle right on the back side here. And I can connect where my sketch line was. Ooh, I think that helped you guys. Now I wanted more spikes than just this too. I want spikes down here. In my sketch you can see that I have spikes under his chin, which means he probably can't look down very hard, but that's okay. I'm gonna add a couple. I'll have to make them small to allow my creature a little bit of mobility. Little one right here. Okay, we are getting some nice. I think I do want to add a few more spikes kind of sticking out over here. Other spikes over here. And just a few more like this. So we got some spikes. Now let's go ahead and start to add some details. Some details that I'm excited to add. I might just take a quick large marker to just outline a couple of big areas here, and we'll add a few little shadows. But I think we can go ahead and block in some of our lines a little bit thicker here. And let's start to add some shading. That's what we need to add here. So I'm going to go ahead, I think right in here, I'm going to add a little bit of shading, and I'm going to just bring it down kind of about where his armpit is. I'm just going to fill that in with a little bit of shading. We can bring this over with a little bit of shading. We can go ahead and add, I think we can darken underneath here. We're just adding a little bit here, a little bit of shading here, maybe even right in here. Darken all underneath his belly here, because that would be covered in shadow, just like that. There we go. We can go ahead and kind of all in here. I'm going to give him a little bit of leg muscles here, so I'll put a line like this. Maybe another line kind of dropping over for some leg muscle, but I want shadow in here, so I'm going to darken down in here. Maybe a little bit of shadow in here. And I'm going to bring that shadow all the way over to our little snapping turtle kind of tail we were talking about. His back kind of has this shell deal here. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on that leg that's further back. I might leave a little white line there just to indicate that, that's that leg back in there. So I'll leave a little white edge right here. And then that shadow would be on this side of this leg, so I'm going to add a little bit of shadow here. Right on this side of the leg. Like so. Oh, kind of like that shadow right there. I think that'd be the same thing on this leg. I'm going to add a little muscle right here. Start to add the shadow in place here. And that's kind of fun. We're starting to see our monster come to life here. Bring that over. Add a little bit back here. I'll add a little shadow back here where the foot's coming off the ground. Like that. So far our shadows look pretty good. Let's add a little bit of shadow to the arms here. Right here where that wrist is, we'll give him a little edge right here. And I think this is all that huge forearm right here, so we're going to give that a little bit of shadow coming over, and this coming up here. I might leave a little bit of an edge here, just so we can see that this is that arm coming over. I really like this bicep we have here, so I'm going to bring that, and then offer up that little elbow here. There's a lot of muscle in this forearm, so I'm going to add a little bit of muscle there and bring that over. want to make this look more like a wrist, so there's going to be some wrinkles here. Okay. Even for a hand, we can go ahead and offer up a little bit right here. I think we want to kind of curve these claws, make them look a little bit more curved, so I'm just going to offer a little curvature here. I hope you guys can see that big thumb coming out right there. I think that helps. I'm gonna do that here on this side. Maybe a knuckle right in here too. That helped. There's that claw back there. Okay, so now we just need to start adding some of our details here, and I'm going to use my smaller marker now to start adding a little bit of detail with the face. And we've talked about this before in our Let's Draw, but if you add some vertical lines going up, you can offer what's called a soft edge or a gradual edge. I meant to kind of shade this in a little bit, so let's make that a little bit darker here. And so I might do that. I'm going to take and just do some lines going up like this. I kind of like that look. I think I almost want a nice little kind of circle right in here to imply just all how he's just a cool creature. Maybe there's in his skull, he's got a little bit of an indentation right there. I want his jaw to have these little edges. Little lines coming up from his mouth, make him look a little bit more foreboding. Do something like that down here. Ooh, I think he's starting to come alive a little bit here, you guys. So I want to add a little bit more lines right here. And again, this is from when I was kind of looking at a rhinoceros. All those great little wrinkle lines looked so cool. So I just kind of wanted to add those. Let's go ahead and add a few lines back here. Okay, now we can add some of these lines here on our shoulder muscle. That helped. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to try and make this a beautiful line going from thick to thin. And then I'm just adding some lines there. I'll do the same thing here, thick to thin. Adding some lines. Going to do the same thing here. It offers gradation. I don't know if you guys can see that at home, but it really, since I'm using marker, not pencil, it really makes it to where you have now a soft edge rather than a hard edge, and it offers some level of gradation. In other words, it makes it look a little bit more smooth, a little bit more three-dimensional there. We'll add a little bit of a mark here. Haven't added texture just yet, but we will. Almost done here with our sci-fi creature. Just throwing in some lines here. Kind of like that look. We got some detail work to do on our spikes. I'm going to start to throw in a little bit of some more spikes back in here. Let's just make this guy really menacing looking with all these cool kind of spikes. I think I'll put some in right here. Maybe one right in here. So he's got spikes kind of going every which way right there. Ooh, I like that. We could add shadows to those. And they're just coming down the side right here. Shadows to these spikes coming down. Because our light source is coming from up top. We'll add shadows to these spikes coming down. Shadows to these. See how fast you can just add those shadows if you know where the light source is coming from. It's really not too hard to add those shadows. And I'm just throwing in some darks on one side here. That's a nice big plate. Ooh, I think this guy's starting to really look like a menacing kind of sci-fi creature here. I'm just throwing some lines here just to indicate it's kind of textured, almost like an antler kind of textures. You got all those lines. I like the look of that. I'm just kind of staying loose with my lines here. I'm going to do that real quick over some of these plates. Almost kind of got a stegosaurus kind of feel here. And this is just a quick way to add texture. It's just with a few lines here to add some texture. I like that. We can even add texture with just some circles. If I added just some random circles, that'll make it look a little bit like a tougher kind of rhino skin is what we're looking for. I'm going to add some circles here, just some organic shapes here to make our creature have a little bit more texture. And I'm just being pretty loose with those. I might throw in a few here. Like that. I think that helped. Let's go ahead and bring in some of that texture. First I want to bring a little bit more shading over here. Now a couple little circles. Might be kind of fun to add even a spike or two right in here, so I think I'll do that. Shadow would be on this side. Maybe a spike right in here. Just some spikes there. We should probably add some here too, I guess. Just to stay consistent with our, this will be in dark. I'll just add that and we'll do the same over here. These are small spikes, because if you wanted to get down on his knees, he can still do that. Just be little small spikes there. I like this, but let's add just a little bit of texture to that hand. So we're just going to add a little bit of texture. Same here. Same right here. A little bit of texture here, just by adding some lines. Maybe a circle or two. And let's add a couple little, oh yeah, let's add a little bit softer lines right here. Do the same thing here. I'm going to bring that over. Just bringing these lines over. Same thing back here on the so I might even throw in a little bit of line on this side too. Just like that. I like that. I think that helped. Let's go ahead and finish out. I wouldn't mind, I think since he's got such huge claws, he's going to need some kind of toenails here. That'll make that look a little bit more fierce there. Make that look a little bit more toe-like. And all I did was just offer a little bit of squiggly lines here on the bottom. Okay, last step. I'm going to add a little pupil to this guy. This is a big step, so if you have a pencil, you may want to do it with pencil first. I'm just going to add a little circle here. and then I'm going to add a black circle in the middle. And that little circle was only offered a highlight, and then the other circle was the pupil there. I'll throw in a little bit of lines right here. This guy was just a lot of fun to draw today. Hope you guys enjoy drawing him too. And remember, you can't go wrong drawing a space creature or alien. If you wanted to change up this design, you should change it up. Make it your own. This is just what I came up with, influenced by our artist we were talking about earlier, Terrell Whitlatch. And there's so much good information in those books, and it's a lot of fun to look at all those art books that we have here at the Kenai Community Library, just to get some influence on what you wanted to draw there, what creature you wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little shadow here. We usually do that just to ground our figure so he's not floating. There's a little shadow. Kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good. And maybe a little shadow right here, to imply that those claws are hitting the ground. A little shadow here where that thumb would be. All right, final step is to sign our piece, and I'm just going to sign mine real small in the bottom here. And I'll put the year. So you can see that I drew a creature based on my sketch. I'm really happy with the way he came out. He's kind of got a nice fluid movement there, and it looks like he's kind of walking or hunching over, and I kind of like the look of his face. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed designing a creature with me today. I look forward to seeing other creatures that you guys have designed. So one thing I forgot to mention is you guys need to come up with a name for your creature. So I would say take a look at the features of your newly designed space creature and think of something that maybe might represent that creature. I would be curious to see if you guys want to comment in the comments below or Facebook, what name would you give this creature? I've got a couple in mind, but what would you guys call him? Anyway, look forward to hearing what you guys come up with. You guys take care. Bye.